Hello friends, today I'm talking about when life coaches tell you to leave a narcissist. Okay, this is a topic that I feel very strongly about because I hear it a lot. I get a lot of my clients that tell me, Michelle, are you willing to work with me if I'm still in a relationship with somebody that's maybe high on the scale of narcissism? And I always tell them, I'm like, well, you know, my job isn't to tell you what to do. As a life coach, my job isn't to tell you you need to leave or you need to stay. My job is to help you to get empowered in yourself so that you can have clear thinking. And when we have clear thinking, we make the best decisions for ourselves. And I'm always surprised at how surprised they are to learn that I'm not going to tell them that they have to leave. So that being said, I just want to clarify something. On YouTube, when we talk about being in toxic relationships and we talk about how in order to really thrive, in order to really feel empowered and get healthy, you have to remove toxic people from your life, we're talking in general. It's just a general reality that if you're around toxic people, it's going to be really hard to heal. However, it's not saying to anyone specific what they need to do. In fact, if you get a coach that tells you you need to leave, then I promise you that coach is not properly trained in life coaching skills. Anyone that is trained would know not to do that. And I'm going to tell you a story that it's one of the people that I met in my coaching in these past few years of coaching that broke my heart to hear her story. And this was probably about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was in Mexico at the time, and when we began working together, she was living in a shelter. She told me that she had just learned about narcissistic abuse probably 9 months prior, so it was very new. She had been in a long-term marriage, had 3 kids, all young, all under the age of 10, and when she found out about narcissistic abuse, obviously, you know, her eyes were open. And she contacted somebody from YouTube that was doing coaching, and that person told her that, you know, she was in a relationship with a narcissist and that she had to leave. She had to leave for herself and to protect her children. Now, when she said that, that alone kind of put up a red flag for me because, first of all, as life coaches, we can't diagnose anybody. So to tell somebody that their spouse is this or is that is going outside of coaching. And again, nobody that's been properly trained would do that. And telling somebody what to do, giving advice, that's another thing that a trained coach wouldn't do. Okay, so any life coaches that are doing this and you're possibly watching this video, if you want to check out my video course to get a little bit of training at least, then I highly recommend it. And then I encourage you, if you are coaching and you have an established business and you have never gotten any certifications, I encourage you to do that as well. Because you're going to learn that a lot of what you're doing may not be what you're supposed to be doing. And I went through that too. Okay, when I first started coaching before I was certified, then when I went through all of my certifications, I realized that I was really going outside of coaching in the beginning. So in other words, just get some experience because you can really cause a lot of damage. So back to that story. So that person told her that she had to leave, and she did. You have to understand that anyone that's been through narcissistic abuse has been accustomed to being told what to do. And so when somebody comes and tells them what to do, they do it. She left and she went to a shelter with her 3 kids. Now, what that coach failed to maybe understand themselves or failed to help her to understand is that because of where she was emotionally, because of how new all of the information was regarding narcissistic abuse, she was not in the best frame of mind. Anyone that learns about narcissistic abuse that first year that they're learning, okay, they are not in the best place. They're probably easily triggered, stuck in survival or stuck in fight or flight. They have dysregulation in their brain and their nervous system. They're confused. They don't feel empowered or grounded within, have an inability to make decisions, and they cannot emotionally regulate themselves when there is a lot of stress. It's just a reality, okay? When you're first learning, your eyes are open, but you've been through so much, and you start to realize how it's affected you emotionally and physically. My point is that because she was in that state, that emotional state, he was able, her now ex, was able to go and file for emergency custody. And he got it. So now she was in a shelter, dealing with all of this emotional dysregulation, all of the stress of the abuse that she had endured for so long. And now she lost her children and was suffering parental alienation. And all of that could have been avoided had she first empowered herself, had she worked on herself before she made any drastic decisions. So my point is, that woman suffered for years. Now, I lost contact with her, and even at the time, it had been almost a year, and she had barely seen her children for that whole year. My point is if you're a coach and you're helping people through narcissistic abuse and you're telling them what to do, get some training, because you can affect somebody else's life and they will have to live with the consequences, not you. It can also put you in danger because you can be sued. Okay? And if you are a client and you have a coach that has done that, please make sure that you get a coach that is trained properly. There are many out there, but just make sure, because you want to be with somebody that's not going to give you a fish, that's not going to create a codependent relationship with you having them give you advice. You want somebody that's going to teach you how to fish and how to make your own decisions and how to trust them. I just had to make this video because I recently had a client ask me, Michelle, would you work with me if I was still in a relationship? And I just thought, and when I asked her why she asked me that, she told me that she had tried to work with 2 other people that let her know that until she made these decisions, they wouldn't work with her. And I just felt motivated to make this video for coaches and clients to take into account.